And welcome to the live stream day 12 with Coach Hélène from The Coolest Journey. My beautiful guest, Gabriela Herrero, who I love as the Ice Mermaid. You
That
are.
name is
You are.
taken though.
That's true. That's true. But well, you're my favorite Ice Mermaid. There's another person who goes by Ice Mermaid, but you're my favorite one. So we have been going strong in this 21-day cold spark challenge. And as this is day 12, it means that we're just over the halfway point. The first week was about the introduction to cold, and the second week was about keeping the momentum. And just as a reminder, this is a program that I designed for people who have zero cold exposure knowledge or practice so that they can start in the comfort of their own home using whatever tools they have, glass of water with ice cube or one of those ice
The
packs,
vegetables. Mhm.
vegetable bags or fruits, and make sure that they're well closed so that you don't get the pee explosion like what happened to me. And I can't remember day 2 or 3. You can also go outside on your balcony. You can walk outside at a park and just remove some layers if it's cold enough, just so that you are exposing your skin to the cold air. You could go all sorts. You can go to your local grocery store and walk into a freezer, like at Costco, for example, and just get some cold exposure. Cold shower, cold bathtub. The whole point is that we're exposing our bodies to cold every single day, and we're increasing the time that we're doing this exposure. So we started at 30 seconds, and now yesterday we were at 60 to 75 seconds, which is a minute to minute 15. And today it's a minute to a minute and a half. So 60 to 90 seconds.
I have to interrupt you.
Yes. I was
I
just going to
found a
say
new.
this is the end of my thing, and I was going to leave you the floor. You go ahead.
I yesterday I was thinking of more ways of, obviously I'm thinking what other way can people go and do cold things, and I was washing the dishes now because I live in Canada. Obviously the water is cold when it comes directly from underneath, so I wash dishes with really cold water, like nothing of hot water, and my hands were like actually in pain at some point. And it was like, oh my God, this is amazing because you can do it. It's not that bad. So I was washing the dishes to the point I was like, oh my God, it's so cold. And I kept washing the dishes like for about, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. And my
Wow.
hands were really, really cold. And I thought that's good because I'm doing something, my hands are moving and I'm getting exposed to the cold and the sensation in the hands. Because the sensation in the hands and the feet is the one that nobody likes. So that's
Yes.
another way.
Yes. The one on the feet, I think part of the issue is that our feet are not always exposed to the air like our hands are. Our feet are usually in shoes or something. And when our feet are cold and we have to walk on them, we don't walk on our hands, but we walk on our feet and we don't necessarily feel the ground the same. So it affects our proprioception for a few moments. So that can be a
Yeah.
little unsettling. So I would say for people, if you're doing the cold exposure on the feet only, and you have to walk afterwards, make sure it's done safely. Safety always, always, always comes first. So you have to make sure that you listen to your body. You don't overexpose yourself to cold water, cold packs, because then you could easily burn the skin. And yeah, take it easy from there, and you'll be able to build your practice. And why would you want to build a practice like this? Apart from, well, it's kind of cool because it's cold. Ha,
Mhm.
cool, cold. Anyway, you get a like a reset of the brain, of the mind. So if you wake up and you're foggy brain, this is one way to help clear that fog. In addition to that, it helps with if you're doing some type of work where you need to be focused for a long time and it gets a little bit more difficult to keep your focus, expose yourself to cold and do some breath work at the same time, which is part of the challenge, right? So you're going to have all sorts of tools for breath work. Then you can help to recenter yourself, reset the brain, and then you can keep going again, quite refreshed. Managing chronic pain, just feeling good overall. Those would be the main ones if you're doing it
Mhm.
at home alone. And then when you're going outside, well, then you're connecting with nature, connecting with yourself even at home, right? You're more in yourself, but outside we connect with nature, we connect with other people that we're doing this with. So it brings the whole experience at the next level. So that's why we do cold. And so Gabriela, cold hands, washing dishes, that's awesome. So now that we're in our second week, and this is the day 12 of our second week, which is about building momentum, you can share some interesting expertise with us, because I'm going to do a small plug for you. Gabriela, you've been an executive coach for decades.
Oof, like 17 years, I think. Yeah, 17 years. Oh
Almost
my
2 decades. And you know a thing or two about how the mind works. So, what can you tell us about this cold water practice and how to keep a momentum going?
Well, what I was trying to share today is how our mind works in the sense of whatever we do, the thought that you have is whatever your body feels, right? So, for example, if right now I ask you to close your eyes and think that you're opening the refrigerator and you're getting a lemon out, you're cutting the lemon, and then you're going to put it in your mouth and squeeze it. What's happening to your mouth? It's watering. It's because you already know how the lemon feels and everything, but you're telling your brain there's no lemon, right? But your brain thinks there's a lemon. So exactly the same thing. What I think happens with cold is we are afraid of cold. So when you're afraid of cold, what it does, and we talked about the parasympathetic nervous system and that. So to tell them more in easier ways, our mind it's built to survive. So we think with the primitive brain. So what happens is we're going to go into the cold. There's stress. So we segregate cortisol and we don't like it. And the moment our brain is, it's too cold, I don't like it, I'm afraid, obviously it's easier for you to say, I don't want to do it. But if you change the way you think, the way of being curious as of what's going to happen when I go in, you change to think with the prefrontal cortex, which is our executive brain. And that's the one that segregates the dopamine, the serotonin, and all the beautiful hormones, the oxytocin, which would make it when you are with more people and you're smiling and you're thinking, I love this. I know I'm going to feel better. It's going to be easier to have those sensations and experiment with your body. What is what I'm feeling instead of being afraid of them? So I think that works. And then what I think happens to you and I is that we've been doing it for so long. We love to do it. We know what we feel afterwards, that for us it's easy to go in. It's easier and easier and easier. And maybe the colder, the easier it gets for us to go in. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't change. After the summer of 28 degrees water and the sun out and everything, getting in the cold is harder. And when it's here in Canada, we have this thing, the lake flips. So in the middle of the summer, the lake feels really cold. And it's horrible to get in cold water when it's 30 degrees outside. But if you use these mind tricks to say, oh my God, this feels so good, it's so refreshing, instead of, oh my God, it's so cold, I don't want to go in, I don't want to go in. Because you're sending those signals and your body reacts to those signals. So enjoy it. Like really learn to enjoy the cold just as much as we enjoy feeling the hot. And then when it gets too hot, nobody likes it. And create those new neural patterns in
I've got a comment and a question. So the comment about
yes.
it's about the lake turning. It's not just Lake Ontario that turns. We have the same thing happening here with the Pacific Ocean in Vancouver. And I'm pretty sure it happens as well in the Atlantic Ocean as well on the other side, East Coast and West Coast. I don't know about other lakes, but it could be a natural phenomenon that happens in various bodies of water. The second thing is a question, and I just want to make sure that I understand what you're saying. So you're basically saying we can use words or talk to ourselves in a different way in order to change our perspective on the cold. Is that correct? So instead of saying, oh, this is going to be cold and it's going to hurt, they say, oh, this is going to be refreshing. It's going to be delicious in terms of feeling that sensation on my skin. Is that what you're referring to?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like the experiment with the lime, same thing. Your brain is getting used to the feeling of cold water. To a point, at one point, is the stress signal that it sends your body when it's cold, it's gonna be less. You're not gonna be as stressed as you're gonna be when you go in the first time, which is so cold and so cold, and you tense your body and everything. Try to just relax, breathe, and go in.
So another question for you regarding this. If I were to tell myself, this is going to feel so good, I'm going to feel great even in it, could that potentially reduce the cold shock response to the body? Do you know?
That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know,
We
because the
might have
shock
to
is it's a survival instinct.
physiological.
So it's your body, the one that it's telling you, you need to protect. I need to protect the organs. I don't think so.
Because it's a
I
little bit
think
like walking on the coals, walking on fire, right? The response would be, I'm going to burn. I don't want to go. What if it's the same thing in the cold water? I don't know. I'm just asking, but maybe what we need to do is to create that experience, that experiment, and keep notes on it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know, because we always have the shock.
Yes. And it's just that because, like you were saying, we've acclimatized to the cold water. So our cold shock response time is greatly diminished. I didn't measure mine, but I'm assuming mine is about 5 to 7 seconds from a breath point of view. And my heart rate pretty much steadies within, I could tell because I could feel it.
Yeah, me too.
It's about 20 seconds, I think,
Yeah,
or
10 to 20 seconds.
a couple of strokes of swimming, and it all
But it depends,
stabilizes.
because it's a physiological reaction. I don't think it will diminish, but the way you control, it's like the fitter you are, the quicker your breath goes down. So I think the same thing here. The quicker, the more accustomed you come to the cold, you get the shock, but you know how to control yourself. You know how to breathe. You know what to do. In
Yes,
that case.
the longer exhale and slowly recentering, and
And
then
not
we're
panic.
okay.
So you go
Yeah.
from survival to thinking, okay, this is what happens with because the reaction to the cold, it's physical. The blood has to go immediately to your core. But yeah, let's experiment with that. That would be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. So you're basically saying to change our inner dialogue.
Our inner dialogue when we go into the cold water. Yeah. Now, while we're doing these little steps, I think it's easier. But if you want to actually go into a really cold, I don't know, a tub full of ice, cold water in a lake, cold water in a pool, or even in a cold plunge, try to think nice thoughts before you go in instead of
Right, right. I maybe a different kind of thought to have. And I've alluded to this. There's a newsletter that's either sent or it's coming out today within the next hour from the Coolest Journey. So I wrote it on Wednesday, and I realized that the cold water has been improving my performance. It's made me faster. It's made me stronger. It's toned my cardiovascular system. It's done so many things for me. So when I'm at the edge of the water and I've got those, because we have those days, right? It's not necessarily, oh, I can't wait to go in. It's more like, oh, it's windy. I'm not really feeling it that way. I always think this is making me faster. This is making me stronger. I'm going to have a better day because of this. And this is a streak that I need to continue because I want to continue feeling good in my body. And that's also because I've been in bed for almost 2 years, right, with migraines and stuff. So for me, this is essential. I want to live my life to the fullest and when I'm there and I really am going, like, I don't feel like it. I'm like, no, I'm out of bed. I'm grateful to not be stuck in bed again. We are doing this. And I'm doing it first thing in the morning. I'm not sure if you want to talk about this. I'm doing it first thing in the morning so that I don't have decision fatigue by the end of my day to say, oh, do I really want to go and expose myself, which is a decision to make. It's like, no, it's not a decision to make. I get up, I put my stuff on and I go to the cold water or expose myself to the cold. So is there a time of the day where it is easier for us to make these decisions from an inner dialogue point of view? Or is that a constant thing going on in our head?
I think it's the same thing because you already said that, oh, I get fatigued and it would be easier for myself to convince myself that I don't want to do it. Most of my life, I exercise at night because I was working and I went to university. So when I was swimming at night. So I guess my brain is used to work out at every hour of the day. And I am not a very good sleeper. So sometimes to go and swim at 6 in the morning was more difficult for me to. And the reason why I stopped going at 6 in the morning was because I have a dog. And the dog is more important to get out than me going swimming with dog. But I think it depends on everyone, right? If you feel that you want to exercise after going to work and it's at 5 in the afternoon and you feel more relaxed, you get home, you get a hot shower, maybe now it depends on how you have trained your brain to think about exercise. I know there are people that cannot exercise at night.
Mm-hmm. I don't do well with exercise at night unless it's swimming. And even then, I prefer the swimming in the morning for open water. It's interesting what you were saying at the end of a work day. Maybe the cold exposure between the work day and the personal life is a good way to buffer in between and to leave the stress from work at work and get ready for the personal time ahead.
Yeah. Another thing why I like to swim in like at noon, between noon and 4 in the afternoon is because the sun is on top of me.
I love swimming at that time as well. We just have to be careful not to burn to a crisp in the water. That's the only caveat.
Well, you know how I look in the summer, so.
You don't look like an ice mermaid. You look like
No,
like a
like the
tanned
tropics mermaid, a tropical mermaid.
So thank you so much, Gabriela, for sharing those wise words about inner dialogue with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just that I think I said it the last time. Just keep an open mind and just try to see how you react to any cold opportunity that you have. There's so many.
There
So
are.
many.
Yeah, and you found one out today, last night when you were washing the dishes.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
And by the way, if you had been in Montreal with the cold water only out of the tap, I'm sure it would have been a couple of degrees even colder than what you had in Burlington. And for me over here, the cold water is not
It's
that cold.
lukewarm. Yeah. No, here's been really, really, really cold.
Yeah.
But
So one thing
yeah,
I'm gonna add. I have to tell you this because I found this out today, which is about keeping an open mind and trying different things. We talked about rewarming strategies last let's say that it was 7 days ago on our longer live. So that would have been day 5 live. We talked about rewarming strategies, going slow, not too fast, and letting the body pretty much rewarm itself naturally or move. I found out something else I can do to rewarm. So this week, I finally experimented with USB chargeable hand warmers. So they're magnetic, right? And they stick together. But when I get out of the water, I take them out and I turn them on and I put them in my pocket, in my coat pocket. So I change, I do my things, I get blood moving in the hands again, and I grab my bags and I can put my hands in my pockets and my hands are starting to get warm again because these are hand warmers as opposed to the hot shots, which are disposable, which I don't like. I really do not like waste and I would prefer to try and go without plastic. it's pretty tough in this society, but here we are. So I've got my hands in my pockets. I'm getting warmed up. That's pretty nice. I go back to the car, and this morning I swam 850 meters. I think I was in the water about 18 to 20 minutes. The water was about 8.8 degrees, and the air temp was about 6, just to give the whole situation. So I knew that sitting in the car, I was going to get cold. So I dropped someone off. I'm driving away, and I'm holding my mug, ceramic mug with some hot water. So I'm holding onto this. So I'm warming up my hands. And then I think, oh my goodness, those hand warmers, they were right beside me. I could use them for something else. I have an older car. I don't have a seat warmer. So I turned them on and I put them one underneath each butt cheek. Life changing, okay? Life changing. It was like having my own little butt warmer. And if I had more, I would have put in my lower back and I would have been so much better.
That's so funny.
So, hey, this is just to say, keep an open mind, cold water out of the tap, for cold exposure, washing dishes, hand warmers on your bum so that you can warm up if you don't have a
so funny. You know what? I don't like to use the seat warmer. My ex-husband used to turn it on and on and on and on. And at some point he started complaining about back pain. And we believe that it was that he was sitting on that thing, and then you would go out, like he would go to the office and get out, and he was cold, and his muscles started to feel that. So I don't use them. I have them in my car, and I don't.
Once again, I think it comes back to habituation, right?
Probably.
So if he was using it too much, it could mean that eventually the body just doesn't know how to do its own blood circulation, which then all sorts of things happen. I don't know.
Who
That's
knows?
my little theory. But here we are, hand warmers under your bum, folks.
Hand warmers under your bum. That's so funny.
You never know what you're going to get on this show.
Well, that's really good.
Good. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And thank you so much, Gabriela, for your wise words of wisdom.
Thank you so much.
And we will be live again on day
Monday.
15. Yeah, on day 15.